published 1637 est, the 22nd of November 2017, updated 1945 est, the 22nd of November 2017. The saving grace for Celtic is that it's almost over now. This was another gruesome night in a torturous Champions League campaign, yet the final scoreline surprised no one. For big clubs from small ponds, Europe's premier competition is becoming an annual exercise in embarrassment and survival. The super-rich are making a habit of contemptuously slapping down the little people. Pre-match, the bookmakers' odds told their own story. There were reasons why Celtic entered this game as distant 281 outsiders. A harrowing 50 defeat in Glasgow was one of them. Neymar, Kylian, Mbappe and Edinson Cavani the others. Neymar was in fine form against Celtic on Wednesday night as PSG came from behind to beat the Scottish champions. PSG went behind early on, but it didn't take long for £198 million man Neymar to get on the scoresheet himself in Paris after Neymar had scored again to put PSG ahead. Edinson Cavani added a third, celebrating wildly with the Brazilian. It was 41 PSG with 10 minutes still remaining of the first half as Kylian Mbappe found the top left-hand corner of Celtic goal Marco Verratti centre, wearing 6, netted the fifth for a delighted PSG, before Cavani scored his second and the team's sixth. Fans' favourite Dani Alves completed the incredible victory to put PSG in seventh heaven with a 20-yard top corner strike. Moussa Dembele netted inside a minute to give Celtic hope in Paris, but it was short-lived as PSG turned on the style. Dembele celebrates with Celtic teammate Olivier Ntcham after silencing the Parc des Princes inside a minute of the match. It's now 39 matches since Monaco travelled to the Parc des Princes in March 2016 and became the last away team to win. 13 years since anyone won in the Champions League here. In 9 home league games this season, Unai Emery's runaway train have scored 32 times, conceding just 5. In the Champions League, they hadn't conceded so much as a goal. What happened after 57 seconds here, then, was remarkable and unexpected. Celtic scored, and it had the feel of a freakish aberration. Returning to his home city and former club, Moussa Dembele fired Scotland's champions into the lead, rattling a low corner from Olivier Ntcham high into the net. It was, in the end, a mistake. A huge error of judgment. Cavani and Dani Alves can do nothing to stop Dembele scoring for Celtic after a well-worked corner in the first minute. Dembele, himself a former PSG player before leaving for Fulham at the age of 16, points a finger to the sky in celebration. Celtic's players revel in the moment after impressive young striker Dembele had put them ahead against all the odds. By the 35th minute the visitors were 41 down, dissected and picked apart by the world's most expensive forward line. Had it been a boxing match they might have thrown in the towel there and then. To have any chance here they needed the defenders to defend and their goalkeeper to make saves. On both counts they suffered something close to a collective seizure. Edric Boyata and Jose Simunovic last formed a recognised central defensive partnership in Brussels 8 weeks ago. Midfielder Near Bitten filled the breach in the interim, yet his relegation to the bench didn't last long, and he replaced the injured Mikael Lustig moments after Neymar had levelled the scoring with a clinical finish. Celtic would almost certainly have lost heavily in any case. This PSG team don't just play a different game, they're inventing a whole new sport. Yet the Qatari-backed team scored 4 goals from the first 4 shots on target. If they made the job of slicing through the visitors' defence ridiculously easy, there may be good reasons for that. Celtic had modest expectations from the start. They hoped to come here and keep the score to a respectable margin. To creep away with a modicum of pride and focus their energies on third place in the group. Securing European football after Christmas by seeing off Anderlecht in Glasgow in a fortnight. Parity was restored when Neymar fired past Mikael Lustig to make it 11. The Celtic defender came off injured straight after Neymar wheels away in celebration after levelling things up, leaving Lustig and Gordon on the floor inside the 18-yard box. Edric Boyata was next in the firing line for Celtic as Neymar scored a similar second to put the French giants into the lead. Briefly, ever so briefly, they dared to harbour cautious, improbable hopes of something more. An awful Dani Alves pass back gifted them a corner. Determined to make an impression on his return home, Dembele peeled off his marker and smashed the ball high into the net through the flailing hands of Alphonse Areola. It was the first goal PSG had conceded in the competition this season. Europe sat up and took notice. It didn't last long. That Neymar loves scoring against Celtic is undeniable. He entered this game with 5 Champions League goals in 5 games against the side in green and white, and took his tally to 7 with 2 in 14 minutes to wipe out Celtic's lead. Both were preposterously easy affairs. Scott Brown contributed to the first by gifting possession in his own half to Adrien Rabiot. PSG might be the last team in need of a helping hand, the midfielder feeding Neymar, whose ruthless, raking low shot finished in off the far post. Neymar looks to the sky after putting Paris Saint-Germain into the lead in front of a packed crowd at the Parc des Princes. Verratti looked delighted to have seen his teammate Neymar net a second as PSG completed the comeback to go 21 ahead. Cavani scores PSG's third goal as Gordon dives but can't get near it. By this point, the home side were making the mark. Within minutes, Lustig was off. Didnt entered the fray in defense, but the game plan which worked so well in the opening minutes was gone. So, in essence, were Celtic. Dembele continued to pose an attacking threat coming in off the left flank. A layoff to Encham in 21 minutes ended in a fizzing shot flying inches wide. For Celtic it was akin to a last hurrah. Within 2 minutes Neymar had played a quick 1-2 with Marco Verratti, thrashing a piercing left foot finish into the same corner he placed the first. Craig Gordon had no chance. It was natural, now, to fear the worst. To suspect this was becoming the night Celtic always feared. The Uruguayan striker looked delighted as he celebrates with Neymar after netting his 150th goal for Paris Saint-Germain. Didnt prepares to jump but can't stop Mbappe's shot as the Frenchman finds the top corner with his shot on 35 minutes. By the time Mbappe celebrated, PSG were already running away with the game and the youngster's strike made it 41. Cavani scraped the post with a left foot volley. He was merely marking time before claiming his 150th goal for PSG in 29 minutes. It's doubtful HES scored any easier, and Alves crossed towards the back post headed back across goal for the Uruguayan to finish from point-blank range. PSG's fourth came in 35 minutes. A booking for Simunovic resulted in a free kick calamitously defended and easily finished by an unmarked Mbappe. As in Glasgow, Celtic had been comprehensively undone before half-time. The name of the game, now, was damage limitation. Gordon produced his first save of the game to prevent Mbappe making it 5 before the interval. The whistle of Greek referee Tassos Sideropoulos could hardly come quick enough. Neymar gets Mbappe in a headlock as Alves slabs his head during the celebrations following PSG's fourth goal in Paris. Verratti fires through bodies to find the bottom left-hand corner, making it a fantastic 5 for Paris Saint-Germain at home. Verratti roared with delight as PSG made the most of Celtic's abject defending to increase the Group B goal difference. Credit where it's due. Celtic knuckled down. They dug deep. They might even have claimed a second goal in 55 minutes. Brown breaking clear on the right before firing a first-time ball towards Dembele in the middle. One goal was unexpected, 2 proved beyond him. A wild effort flayed wide of the post. There was a rare appearance for Kouassi Aboué in place of Encham in 68 minutes. Yet Celtic spent the closing stages running on empty. More comic book defending from an Mbappe cutback fell perfectly for Verratti to thrash the fifth goal low into the bottom corner. Cavani had earlier scored his 150th goal for PSG, but there was still time for the 151st and his 21st of the season for PSG. Cavani has been in excellent form for club and country this season and managed to net a second. Despite an elbow injury, Alves scored the pick of the bunch late on in the match, letting rip from 20 yards out to find the left-hand corner of the net. The final 15 minutes were edged through the cracks of the fingers. Cavani smashed a magnificent volley in off the base of the post from Malavan Kurzawa, cross missed by Kieran Tierney. It was 7 within a minute, Alves thrashing a 20-yard shot past a static, flailing Gordon. PSG have now broken the record for goals in a Champions League group, scoring 24. Precisely half of that total has come against Celtic. Celtic's record defeat in all competitions remains an 80 loss to Motherwell in April 1937. Shipping 7 goals to Barcelona and PSG in an increasingly divided tournament raises an obvious danger now. One day, soon, an 80-year record could go. Alves creates a love heart with his hands to celebrate his goal and PSG's 7th in the hammering. If Celtic on Wednesday, a battered, bruised and beaten Celtic team trudged from the Parc des Princes pitch after losing 71 against Neymar and co.